this is Natalie's journey. We're going to talk about it. She came in, hit a lot of winners, had a drawdown month, and then set herself up for like a 25K push. And see where she is. There she is. She's going to speak about it.
Hey, Matt.
Hey, Natalie. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
You bet.
If anyone's pumped, just give me a thumbs up in the chat or type yes and show some appreciation for Natalie sharing her journey here. And yeah, break it down, Natalie. What got you interested in what we do? How did you kind of hear about this? And then what was it like to kind of get into it?
All right. I feel like my journey is probably, at least listening to lots of people, I don't know if anyone was as a beginner as I was when I started. Um, I had never traded a stock. I didn't even know what bearish and bullish meant. I was like zero, beginner. Um, but I've always wanted to do something. My husband had traded some stocks in the past, and it just was something I always wanted to do. So Isaac found Matt, and he said, "Hey, so I found this awesome coach, and I think you would really like this program." So we took the plunge, and I joined Matt's program. And he was so patient with me from the very get go. It was like he had to show me how to push the buttons of how to make a first trade and what everything meant. But I will say back then it wasn't Guac University. It was um, under something else. I can't remember. Maybe Chipotle.
Chipotle money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So those classes were huge. They were so helpful. And I probably, in the beginning, I had stuff all over my wall just to remind myself, like, okay, the VIX, and if it's this high or low, or the clouds and the implied volatility. And I had a notebook where I just would write everything down so I could try to remember what all of it meant. So in the beginning, this was back when it was Chipotle money. It didn't have quite the risky ticker list. So I did get into a couple trades that I thought were good trades, and they were not. And so it took, but I was actually, now looking back, I'm really glad that I learned those lessons early on of really knowing the company that I'm buying into or doing a trade on. Um, and I love what Daniel drills in every time. Like, if it's, don't do it, don't do the trade unless it's something you want to own. I learned that one quick. Hymns was a bad one that I got into. I'll never touch that one again.
Yeah, I mean,
And
you can chat about like you had a couple months where things were working. But yeah, we tickers come in the system that kind of broke your confidence a couple times. Like, what was that like? Kind of using hymns, or I think we had Iron and IREX like at the wrong time.
yep.
How did you bounce back from a loser? I guess is what I'm more curious to have you speak about for the students.
Yeah. Um, I'm really glad for those who post on here how it feels, because especially as a beginner, I felt, I was like, oh man, I'm so embarrassed. I have to tell Matt that I am in the negative this far. Um, it's hard to have losing trades, but and I think one of the lessons too is to cut. I learned to cut some of those losers, which was hard for me. But I haven't
I
even
mean,
been in the program
we
that
cut a
long.
lot of losers.
Yeah.
Like, it's normal, right? It sucks. but it wasn't like we went through 8 months of great trades with our system. We cut five bigger losers,
Mhm.
probably.
And there were plenty of good ones in between. It's just that
Yeah,
those losers were kind of big ones.
yeah.
Um, and I did get discouraged. And I remember messaging Matt and just being like, I don't know if I'm cut out for this. I don't know if I can do it. And he just said, you said, Matt, hang in there with me. We'll get through this. I promise. And I trusted you. And the cool thing is I don't worry as much now because the same thing is happening. Um, a lot of my trades are red, but I know it's okay because that big month I had was because I got assigned um, stocks back in, you know, I can't remember, maybe February, March. And I just held on to them until they went up and had a fantastic month.
Love that. And what was it like, obviously getting on that consistency with the CSPs, but then pushing for, obviously the leaps are really tough, but what is it like integrating that? Because CSPs were totally new to you, and this leap thing is also very confusing too to kind of jump into. But how have you been able to do that?
So to be honest, the leaps haven't. I'm in that same learning process. Most of mine are in the negative, so I'm just trusting and waiting and seeing. I mean, there's been the couple that have done okay, but um, any new thing that you learn, I guess I've just learned that I need to trust you and keep moving forward. And when you say cut the loss, just cut the loss and move forward.
Yeah, when we had a couple of the high risk things, yeah, there's this window where it's okay, tinier loss, but then if you miss that window, it becomes kind of ugly to kind of hold through that. And um, yeah, you're able to, yeah, you're comfortable sharing your account, but you're able to generate that 25K off that $130,000 account. And what percentage of your last month's wins were CSPs versus higher end trades like stock or leaps?
So almost, I should have calculated that before. And I think I saw a question there, which stocks it was that I was assigned, and it was iron and AMZU, and I think there was one other one, but most of that income was in those stocks that I was assigned. Um, so, and the funny thing is having not having the experience, I was used to my husband just holding stocks for years and years. So I just didn't even think of selling them until I met with you, Matt. And you're like, so you should sell those stocks. And I was like, oh, yeah, that's probably part of the plan. And then reuse that money, that capital into other trades. Um, I started in October. I saw that question. So it's only been like 7 months since I've been
Yeah,
trading.
we had one of the hardest like 6 months window for the markets, like pretty much since you joined. It was a sideways market and then a pullback, and then you had one opportunity to go and hammer like a leap entry, which I think you managed that properly.
Mhm.
But yeah, you did a lot of your learning through the tough times and even some tough tickers.
Yeah, but I'm learning to not be stressed out when it's red. Like I mean in high quality stocks. I don't have any in my portfolio that I don't want to own. And so that's the biggest lesson I think for me in the past 7 months is know what you're trading and want to own it.
Love that. Yeah, any other questions for Natalie, guys? Um, Tips? We'll just skip some of them. number of questions. Tips for newbies. Trade in what you want to own. Any other tips, Natalie? Big tips that you found useful?
For me, it would just be to go for anyone who's new, who is as new as I was. There's a lot of chatter of people who know a lot more than I do, and a lot of it I don't understand, and or tickers I don't know, and so I've learned to just take a step back and not worry about rushing so far ahead to get to where everyone else is, but just, I mean, I would say if you're a beginner like I am, go back to those the Guac University and just rewatch, relearn, write stuff down, have it around you as you're trading, so that you can make sure you're doing a quality trade that you won't have to worry about in the future.
Bo, how do you know how much cash to use in the markets versus how much to hold? How do you kind of maneuver your sizing and everything?
So I try to stick to what you teach in the Guac University on as far as percentages.
Yeah.
Um, I will say I am one, I usually have more than half of my capital in trades. Just because like now, when I see these dips, I like to get into them. And if I don't have cash and it dips a little bit more, that's okay because I was happy where I got in. So I try not to worry too much about, I mean, I definitely don't, I try to not over leverage in one trade, but I'm also okay. Like, I don't have FOMO. It's okay if you miss one.
It seems like knowing, like Natalie's saying, knowing your position size, knowing the price you're getting in, knowing the ticker inside and out. A lot of the most successful people in our program say the exact same thing. They just they understand the stuff they're getting into at the end of the day, and they're fine doing that. That'd be the first thing for everyone to focus on. Definitely. Chris wants to know how you developed a resilience after your big first loss. I think Hims was the big first loss. How much was that in total?
Oh, I don't remember. I'd have to look back on that one. My biggest one, well, I can tell you my biggest loss
Yeah.
over, I mean, I rolled one a couple times. I was in an SMH Iron Condor, and I think I lost like 12,000 on that one. And Hims, it was in the thousands, but
Huge.
the hard, it is a hit. It's a blow to the gut when you lose that much. But for me, once it was gone, like once I cut it and it was out of my portfolio, I honestly just didn't think about it anymore. It's gone, it's done, and this is where I'm starting. So I tried to not worry too much about what I'd lost, but look at what I have right now and using the money that I have wisely and moving ahead. So that's kind of, I don't know. No one likes losing, right? But it is part of it as well.
And what helped you kept like after the loss was over, after you reset, what helped you keep believing in moving forward with like the education and the trades?
I think honestly, it's the market moves family, because when you're new and you haven't experienced the downs and then the going back up again, it is really scary. And it's like, well, maybe I'm just a bad trader. Maybe it's just going to keep getting worse. But the thing to me that was most helpful was hearing from so many other people saying, I've been there, hang in there, it's going to be okay. Keep moving forward, keep learning. And sometimes I think getting back to the basics, not trying so hard to get, after a big loss, not trying to get a huge win, but just going to the basics and doing what you need to do to get those small wins, and eventually it it does work out.
David wants to know what the end goal is for you. I know we chatted about this. I kind of know your goals, but you can share them with everybody too.
Yeah. So, I I'm actually a stay-at-home mom, and my husband's job, he had a pretty big pay cut. And so I was hoping to supplement his income. And so my biggest goal is to get to the point that I make as much as my husband, which would be amazing for me. So my goal is to reach that so that he can retire sooner and we can have more time together with our family, and and it's the coolest thing to me, and this is why I love referring people, is I can make more still being home with my family than any other job that I qualify for. And so it's life changing. It's amazing.
Love that.
And paying off debt, that would be a really good thing.
Uh, sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, as Floyd says, you also say that it's been really good, Mark. Um, so just so you guys know, our system is built around a typical market that pulls back, makes a new high, pulls back, makes a new high. That market will always happen until unemployment jumps up, inflation and interest rates become a headwind that's too much to fix quickly. Um, yeah, we can see a macro to know we're not in a good market, but like, yeah, the past 2 years, there's been no reason anybody couldn't be successful with us just selling puts. So even in a tough market, like I expect people to be successful like Natalie. But the key is what Natalie learned is like quality tickers. The tougher the market, the more quality you need. Because if you get into like a Robinhood and it's leveraged, or Palantir and it's leveraged, or MU, sometimes a single ticker can wipe you out if you're too heavy and you don't follow position sizing. So um, I would say Natalie's a great student to interview because she came in on a crap market that pulled back religiously for like 4 months and then only gave you a tiny window to get in on the last run aggressively. And she never did this before. You know, she made all the beginner mistakes you guys probably would avoid because of our new system. Um, some of the stuff is even impossible to do that she was doing because of our old software just not being as efficient. So she's awesome to kind of learn from as someone who just trusted the system, kept doing the right size, doing the right sizing, and then kind of grew. One thing, Natalie, I want to talk about is how do you hold yourself back from being reckless with leap options? Because I know we gave you access to that program. I know some make money, some don't. It's the luck of the draw. Basically, at the end of the day, with some of those, if you're not taking them all, I guess. So, how do you make sure those are kind of in a safer spot for you and not getting to the point where they're taking your account negative plays in a big way?
Well, probably just like CSPs, I learned my lesson. Probably, I don't know, maybe I have to learn in a way of messing up because with, I think, my first,
Sorry, you said you have to learn in a way of messing up.
I do, apparently. Yes.
I
Like,
think that's true for, yeah, that is the golden line. I'm gonna write that on my wall. You have to learn in a way of messing up.
yeah.
Yeah, I love that. And
Because
why? Why would you say that?
so I, so here's what I learned not to do is, I got in where it was like, okay, here's a trade. And then as it started going down, I was like, okay, it's going down. I'm going to dollar cost average a little bit. And so I got some more. But before I knew it, I was past the percentage of what you recommend on the leaps. And so, I didn't get into too much trouble, but I did realize, so I am very strict now, no matter how big my account gets, the percentages. So, like if you say get in 2% and it's only $3,000, then that is my max. That is where I get in. And, $3,000 is a lot of money, but not if you're going to lose, 12 down the road. So, and at least I haven't lost 100% or anything on any leaps, but I'd rather take a $500 loss, get into a different leap that's a better one. So I think the biggest thing I've learned in leaps is to make sure to stick to the percentages that you put out there.
Yeah, and so you temper yourself by, again, obviously, like we said earlier, sizing, you know your
Yeah.
sides. Um, you seem to even know when it's mentally just not worth holding yourself. Do you have a mental stop loss you might have in your mind too?
Yeah, and that one, it kind of also depends on what the ticker is. There's some I really love, and so those ones I'm more likely to, as Daniel would say, I'm married to them. And
Yeah.
so the ones I'm married to, I'm more likely to hold on and wait. I'm willing to wait a while. Um, but if it's a hop, if it's a shorter one, and I know that time decays against me, or it's not something I love, then I'm okay taking a loss on those and just move forward. But I guess lucky for me, once they're off of my chart, or I guess my account, I really don't worry about them anymore. They're gone.
Why is it attractive to you to take like a 500, $700 loss, um, but still try? Like, even if you did another one and lost, why is it attractive to you to at least try?
It's a good question. Again, I think it's this group, group that you've created. If I didn't have anyone to tell me, it's worked for me and I've been there too, and just keep going, it would be a lot harder. But since there's other people who say, I've been there, try again. Here's something you can think about, or just going back to, like you said, the Guac University,
Yeah.
and learning why didn't that work, but I'm
Love
okay
that.
now. I guess I've taken enough losses to know that it's okay. It's okay to
Yeah, I
take
love that. Yeah.
take a small loss and move forward, because if you just took a loss and quit, then that defies the purpose of doing it at all.
Exactly. And with your, I guess with your biggest month, what was the biggest win from that? Troy wants to know.
It was actually pretty equal between AMZU and Iron.
So getting assigned
Hmm.
and just holding the stock.
Holding the stock and then waiting for it to go up. And I also learned I do not like, I know a lot of people do it, it's part of the wheel, but I get burned on covered calls every time. So I quit doing covered calls
There you
and
go.
life got a lot better.
Yeah, that's one of our things.
Yeah.
Well, so just to guys give you the background, like I coached Daniel, he learned the CSPs. We made this BTB, which is the lead group. Coach Daniel in the BTB. Daniel became a BTB member. Yeah, he paid for it and he went through that system. And he had a 40 grand month with Leaps. And it's not like the most repeatable system every month. You're not going to hit Leaps home run every time. But Daniel messaged me in like 2 days ago. He made 40 grand between two trades. And it's just a skill. Like it's a skill to pull out of the bucket. And Natalie said she just trusts us to know it's a skill to have, which is cool. But just so you guys know that that is a really tough skill. And she's had a struggle, but it is the skill to pull out. Markets are good, you pull it out. Sometimes you get that good feeling with a good entry, you pull it out. That it's a good skill, but it's a tough skill. So she is going down that path, which is exciting. But she's doing it really well, where she's not letting it ruin her success overall with us. So proud of her for that. And any other questions you guys want to ask her while she's on? Covered call burning story, Natalie. What's the story there?
So it's just that certain stocks just go up so fast. I mean, so I had some covered calls on iron and it just started going up. And so I actually ended up taking a loss. I canceled the covered call. I bought it back because I just knew the iron was going to keep going up. And so I didn't roll it. I took a loss and it went up. I mean, it just shot up. And so for me, and it wasn't a huge loss. And so I was like, I'd rather take this small loss now than miss out on all this. I don't know if that's the right thing to do. Matt would say, don't ever do that. Um, but for me, that's just what I chose to do. And I chose to do that because in the past, just with other stocks, that I was assigned, I would, and granted, like Daniel says, a profit's a profit, right? Um, and so I was glad to take those profits, but the premiums, I don't know if they're always this way, but the premiums that I had weren't fantastic, and so it wasn't worth that covered call to miss out on all the premium I could have, or the price of the stock as it rose. So I just kind of over time learned it's just not my thing because unless it happens to be a great premium, but the premiums haven't been as good as just the stock price rising.
It's a good lesson for when we do get assigned here soon on some things. All
Yeah.
right, last questions, anybody?
I did see, I haven't been able to look through all the things, but I did see someone asking about connecting some of the women in the group.
Oh yeah,
And so, do you just add as friends? Can you just
yeah.
search for,
People can friend request you.
yeah. Because I thought the same thing, just in this, if people are in the same situation that
That'd be great.
are newbies or moms.
Yeah, if you want to post just hi in the general chat, people could friend request you.
Okay.
Well, let's do another interview in 6 months, and everyone can see where we're at.
Well, I don't ever expect to get to Isaac's level, at least in the next year, but I'm going to get there.
Yeah, I mean, I think Renuka and Rada are like probably the leaders for longevity and profits, and they're the top dogs. So
They're amazing.
they're impressive. Yeah, you are up there with them. Just got to keep it going for this whole year, and I think you're gonna unlock some crazy things.
Well, thanks, Matt. And thanks. Everyone is so nice on here. It's kind of scary being interviewed. So thanks for being so kind.
Yeah, thanks for being open and helping us learn from your journey. This is really, really impressive, Natalie. Well done. Oh,
And here's
hey,
my husband.
Hey, buddy.
good to see you again. You proud of your wife?
Oh, yeah, all the time. I tell her all the time how awesome she's doing.
This is with everyone. It's Zoom with
Oh,
everyone.
well then, hello, everybody.
Yeah, have you been learning this stuff on your own yet?
I am
Or
trying to do that more and more. I'm hoping I can do more of it, but she tries to teach me and then I don't know what I'm doing but
it's
no, she's
okay.
doing awesome. Super proud of her.
Yeah,
One
me
day he'll
too.
have time because, yeah, he'll have time to learn all of it.
Cool.
Anyway,
See
I'll let you finish up. Thanks, Matt.
you guys. All right, guys, I'm gonna pop off. Thank you, Natalie. Have a good
Bet.
weekend, team. We'll see you guys Monday. Peace, peace.